Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and another today in Tarkov. I know I'm a day late from usually been doing these Monday mornings, but I actually lost my voice this weekend thanks to this godforsaken cold I've been fighting. Pretty sure it's COVID mixed with 3 other diseases my walking petri dishes, my children brought home from school. So it's been fun, to say the least, but we're back. We got a fresh tit for you. So we'll get you caught up on everything Tarkov that's happened in the last week, so you know what's going on, and talk a little bit about some crafts at the end so you know what to craft this week. So first up, Nikita posted on Twitter, godsend again. I love the fact this man's on Twitter. Not only is it funny, but we get some great information out of him. They are working on some things over on their end. Specifically, they put a post up on Reddit asking for everybody's biggest issues. Of course, everybody says audio issues. It's been a thing in Tarkov for as long as I can remember. So they are actively working on that. The Scav AI, which includes the Scav having inertia. If you want way more information about that, I suggest you go watch Veritas's video. He did an interview with Nikita, and they talked all things AI, dove into it. Nikita really explained what's going on with that. And then lastly, the one specific thing he named is performance issues, specifically Lighthouse, but in general across the game. They're all being addressed and worked on. They've had a tough couple of weeks, months, if you will, since the patch started, with all the server issues and everybody working around the clock to try and get those fixed, as well as a round of COVID going through their office and knocking out a large portion of their personnel for a little while. So if you look at the post more clearly, we'll throw a link down in the description so you can go see it yourself. They're talking about working on technical debt, which is basically bugs, things like that have built up because of changes and things. They've got to get those worked on and addressed, as well as the team is still busy working on streets and the arena. Nikita still has committed to doing a stream, a Tarkov TV live stream, which they do on Twitch, where they can talk about more things, answer some questions, and get into a great level of detail on what their projects are directly in front of them, and then where they're headed for the foreseeable future. On top of this, we got a special event. I put up a community post, couldn't do a video on it yet because, again, I was super sick. But there is a Scav Karma task through Fence now, and this means that if you have negative rep, he will give you a task, you complete it, he gives you +1 rep. Once you get positive rep, you don't get the task anymore, so you can't use it to push your rep all the way up. It's not a Scav event like last time. It is simply a way to get out of debt for most people killing Santa. But people that have just been douchebags from the start killing Scavs left and right, they are as well going to be able to dig out of this hole. On top of this, there's been a lot of talk about a solar power bug. Hopefully a fix is coming soon. I have solar now, so I was able to do a bunch of testing and look at it. It is not burning excess fuel. So what's happening is when you log off, the 50% consumption reduction does not apply to your fuel burn rate. It burns at the regular burn rate. So it looks like it might be burning through twice as much fuel, but it's not. It's just burning it at its regular minus your skills, because hideout management affects that. But it's not burning extra. So those of you that have been waiting to do your solar power because you're afraid it's going to lose you money, more money than just upgrading it, that's not necessary. Get your solar power upgraded so you can get your Bitcoin Farm 3, because that's really one of the only reasons you should, in my opinion, you should be doing solar power, is to get your Bitcoin Farm 3 built and going. And hopefully we will see a fix to this bug sooner than later. On top of this, we've seen a couple of crafting changes. First off is the AP63 craft. Now mine's really short, or shorter than what I'm going to say because I've got my reduction because of my crafting skill, but they reduced the crafting time, base time, from 9 hours and 35 minutes to 7 hours and 55 minutes. So a little over an hour and a half reduction in the craft time there. And then on top of that, they made some bigger changes to the 45 ACP AP craft, also right here. First, they reduced it from 50 rounds of AP down to, or I'm sorry, from 90 rounds down to 50 rounds of AP required. They increased it an hour and 36 minutes longer, so the base time is now 7 hours and 27 minutes. And then they upped the yield from 60 to 100. So the craft, still not a great craft, but it gives you access to additional AP if you're running out, if you're using this a lot. This isn't a bad craft. You just have to stack crafts, which sucks. But when you're talking about getting access to ammo, it's a little bit different. Or you have to use AP that you get out of raid or something like that, because you can't buy AP63 to do this craft. With this, they've also made a couple of barter changes. The slick barter has been made more expensive, even more so than it was before. It is now 6 Aramids and 6 Corduras. So since they made this change a couple days ago, we've seen Aramid push and Cordura push, 30s and 40,000s. I got the charts here for Tarkov Market open for you guys. You can see The mid price hasn't changed a lot. It's just become way more volatile as those traders go through and reset. People buy up a bunch of them, and you'll see Cordura and Aramid go way high. So it's an opportunity there to make money if you're crafting those. So keep that in mind. Now, while this change might not affect everybody, one that is the fuel barter with Proper. They changed this from 2 propanes and 1 fuel conditioner to 2 fuel conditioners. Now, this barter still makes sense. As long as you get your propanes for like 35, 40,000, you're still getting your fuel cheaper than buying it for the 160, 170, sometimes 180,000 on the flea market. You can get one from Jaeger for 166. So if we look at that, don't spend any more than 40,000 on your propanes. But I have been able, pretty lucky at it, even the last couple of days, I've been able to get my propane down as low as 25,000. You're seeing here that it's pretty expensive just because propane is fought over for a couple of different barters as well as fuel. So just watch. If you see propane cheap, buy it up, save it, and then use that for your barter. It'll help you in the long run, saves you money. Otherwise, your next best bet is probably Jaeger's 167,000 ruble fuel. And then the last one that they changed that not going to affect a lot of people, and it isn't a huge change, but worth mentioning nonetheless, is with Jaeger. His thick weapons case barter now requires 10 metal parts instead of 5. So adds, you know, somewhere between, we'll say 60 and 80,000 rubles, depending on what you get metal parts at. We have seen the price of metal parts go up because of this. You know, they were hovering around the 910. They're spiked up a little higher right now because I think people are buying up because that looks like that barter's getting ready to reset. But metal parts prices have changed, and I suspect this is why. And there was a sale change, sale price change. Skiers 855A1 is more expensive. It's not huge. You know, you're spending what, 47,000 for 90 rounds of 855A1. It's 526 a round. I think that's up from like 380 or 390, maybe 400 around, so it's bumped up a little bit. But on the flip side, they actually made Peacekeepers ammo a little bit cheaper for the 855A1. This was, it said $9 a round. It says 7 here. It's not. You know, if you type in 10, it's 6.3. It's $6.26 dollars a round, give or take, if you buy your 90. So they did make that a little bit cheaper on him. And then towards the end here, we'll talk about some of the changes posted by tarkovchanges.com. These guys, you call them data miners, whatever it is, they get their information, stuff the BSG doesn't post through patch notes or anything. They reduced Lighthouse loot. This was back on February 1st, so almost a full week ago. And I've noticed loot being less on Lighthouse than what it was, say, a month ago. It's still absurd, though. It might not be ridiculously absurd, but it's still absurd. You can still make great money on Lighthouse, Loot House, whatever you want to call it, but it has apparently been reduced. And then the counter to that, this is of the 7th, which is right now, but yesterday, if you're watching this video tomorrow, and that's weird to think about, reserve loot has apparently been buffed. Again, this is their numbers. They look at this loot chance modifier. Nobody knows exactly what this means, but people are already saying, oh yeah, I'm seeing tons of loot on reserve. There's lots more loot there. I haven't noticed anything. I've ran reserve all day the last 2 days. It seems the same to me as far as loot's concerned, but I also don't rush the tech spawns and check those. But behind the locker rooms and stuff like that, everything seems to be pretty close to the same. But on top of this, they did buff the raider spawn rate even more. So this is the second or third time they've done it this wipe. They've increased it. So that's at D2, and then the hermetic bunker door apparently only after you hit it after about 25 minutes though. That's the only time you're more likely to get raiders. So keep that in mind that you will see them more often now. And that I can't agree with. I've definitely seen raiders more frequently, especially compared to what was towards the end of last wipe where it felt like you never saw them. They're definitely around now. And then one last thing to talk about that might catch you off guard if you get a really lucky loot raid or something. They have capped the number of items you can have in your pocket when it comes to the pipe wrenches, the bullbecks, wire cutters, whatever the hell they're called, and the ratchets. You're only allowed to have 3 of those in your inventory at a time. Probably something to fight RMTers. I don't know why else they would do this, but if you have 3 of those in your inventory, it won't let you pick up a 4th one, so keep that in mind. All right, now we'll just do a quick overview of the top crafts in the hideout right now. We'll do one in each module. I'm not going to get into the details. Go watch my crafting guide if you want more. I talk about tons of crafts in there that show you how to make money with those. But right now, the laboratories, first one, Cordura. Again, I talked about that's the Cordura craft is doing really well right now because of those increases. I don't know how long this will last. Usually stuff like this doesn't hang around for very long. As more and more people get around, the price gets down. I've been able to sell Cordura pushing 35,000 most of the time. I'll craft 5, 6, 7 of them, list them for 35,000, and then log off for the night, and they're sold the next day. And I make a ton of money because you only got to buy 4 of those slings. It's pretty simple craft. I come in, I'll do it right here for you guys so you can see it in case I'm not being clear enough. Plus I can do it while I'm doing the video and make even more money. Buy 4 of those slings real quick from Ragman, start the craft. 38 minutes later, I have a Cordura. After that is wires. We've talked about this craft, and we'll always talk about this craft. If you're ever in doubt and don't know what to craft wires. Power cords, try to get them for less than 15,000. I'll go look right now. I'm guessing they're quite a bit cheaper just because of the time of night. But you can see here 12, 14, 15,000. If you can get them in this 12,000 range or less, 11,000, 11,500, like that right there, turn those into wires. Try to list the wires for right now 9,000 or more. Proof in the pudding, sell them for 9. Sometimes you get 9.5 out of them. 10 if you're really lucky. You'll make good money. You'll make a lot of money doing that with those crafts. Super water, just always craft your super water. Not much to talk about there. Pile of meds. Try to get your augmented as cheap as you can. It's very volatile. It'll push all the way to 22,000, and then it'll come all the way back down to 10,000. So try to get it for less than 14. Just buy your AI2s and bandages from the trader if you can, and then sell your pile of meds for at least 9,500. But I've been able to push 11,500 in big stacks. I'm going to sell some tonight. As you can see here, I have a shitload. I'll list all of these tonight for probably 11,500. I got to go back and look at the market and see exactly where it's at and what it's doing, but I will list those tonight for a pretty hefty hunk of money. Moonshine is making money if you're careful with how you do it. Make sure you use your Jaeger barter. The Jaeger has this great little barter for Amelia Rise. I'm kind of sad I told you about this because I was getting these things for like 8,000, 9,000 until I told you guys about this. Now they're pretty regularly 10,000, or I pull them out of raid. But you're getting your sugar for anywhere from 50 to 55,000, which is usually cheaper than you can buy it now, just because sugar's gotten quite a bit more expensive. I use that and it drags my moonshine costs down even more. You sell moonshine in like stacks of 5, 6, 10. People that are trying to do their scav cases, or not their scav cases, their thick item case barter, they like buying those bigger stacks, so you can usually sell them for a little bit more because they don't have to sit around and wait. And then pretty simply at the Intel unit, Intel, cheapest way to do it. Flash drives less than 65,000. Sometimes you can get them less. Great use if you get them non-found in raid is here, or using them at the Jaeger barter for the dog tag case and then selling that. And then lastly is slickers, though this one can be tough. I've seen slickers go all the way down to 8,500, come all the way up to 10,500. Just make sure you're getting your chocolate for less than 31,000, crackers less than 16. Oat flakes less than 16, crackers less than 14. Shoot for about 9,500 to 10K on your slickers, and you will still make a profit. These are with my numbers. So if we turn this off, let me turn off my progression. This is with all my bonuses and stuff. You can see slickers goes to a loss of 300 rubles. So be mindful of that. If you don't have level 3 intel, some of these crafts are going to look a little bit different in their profit values for you. And a quick shout out to tarkovmarket.com. Their website makes me easier for me to do this, gives us great graphics, and I can show it to you guys pretty quickly. They let me do it, and don't gripe about me showing you guys stuff behind the paywall. So thank you to those guys. But with that, we'll wrap up the tit. I thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys got a bunch of information out of it and helped you. Wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.